The Premier League is back. Match day 1 has been completed. So here are the one thing that I've learned from all 20 teams from this match day 1. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. And without any further ado, let's get into this one. So the first match of the Premier League season was obviously us, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, 4-2 win. And one thing I learned from Liverpool's side is that defensively we need to work on the structure ASAP because we're far too open, and on the transitions we are vulnerable. I get it. In terms of pinning teams back and sustaining attacks, you need to keep hold of the ball to a extreme level, and we didn't do that against Bournemouth. But I think chasing the game from 2-1 up for me was kind of naive, and we got punished for it. But thankfully it didn't mean much because Chiesa came on to save the day. So obviously defensive structure for Liverpool. Bournemouth, Iola is a very good manager. He lost 3 of his back 4, and he looks like he's going to be losing a couple more players. But they brought in Ben Doak, so he will definitely improve under Iola. And Iola, the system that he has can get the best out of the players that he has in his disposal right now. Because there was periods in the second half, large portion of the second half, where we was in trouble. The way they was moving the ball, players making the right movements, Semenyo causing havoc, Evan Nilsson doing a job. Yeah, man, Iola is a very good coach, and no doubt he's going to be picked up by one of the top 6 sides for the next 2 to 3 years. There, I said it. So that's Bournemouth. Next game, Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Aston Villa, one thing I learned from that game is that I feel like Unai Emery could potentially be in a sticky situation because obviously they haven't invested as much. Obviously, they didn't qualify for the Champions League last season. And it wasn't a bad performance from Aston Villa against Newcastle, but I feel like Unai Emery, don't be surprised if it goes a bit stale for this upcoming season, because I do feel like they need new bodies to give the squad a bit of a lift, you feel me? As for Newcastle, they are a one-man team. Without Alexander Isak, last 6 games without Isak, no wins. Last 4 games without him, no goals scored. Without Isak, they're virtually nothing. And I know they're gonna take my words as being harsh, but the proof is in the pudding. Isak's their most important player. Isak is their best player. Isak is their only world-class player in their team. And without him, they look toothless up front. So that's my thing. Newcastle, one-man team. On to the next one. Let's go with Sunderland versus West Ham. Sunderland, Stadium of Light is going to have a big say in whether Sunderland stays up or not, because they're making good business in the transfer window. And the atmosphere, so in the first game against West Ham, played a massive part because they absolutely killed West Ham, and the crowd was up for it from the moment because that was their first Premier League game since 2017, and naturally the fans are going to be up for it. And I feel like the fans pushed the team forward and made them play to a very good level, and they was rewarded with that. So Stadium of Light is going to be a difficult place to go to get points. As for West Ham, I believe they're going to be in the relegation battle for this upcoming season because they were woeful. And I know people are going to say, it's just one game. How am I making that? How am I making a conclusion that early? Simple. I feel like the previous seasons, they haven't kicked on. Obviously, David Moyes left at the 23-24 season. Then last season, it was a poor season for West Ham, in my opinion. And it doesn't look like they're gonna try to push on from that poor season. Because obviously, Bowen is still there. Paqueta, obviously, the allegations are behind him, but he doesn't want to be there by the looks of things. They lost Kudos. So I feel like this is going to be the year they're going to be fighting for relegation, like on a serious level. So that's one thing I learned. Next one, Tottenham versus Burnley. I feel like Burnley is going to be one of the sides that gets relegated this season. Obviously, last season, they had an unbelievable defensive record in the Championship, but they lost Trafford. They got in Kyle Walker for experience. But the Championship to the Premier League is a massive step up, and I don't feel like they're going to adapt to that very well. Especially Scott Park as manager, who has an abysmal record in the Premier League. We hate to say it because he was a very good player on his day, but as a manager, he might not be it. As for Tottenham, Mohamed Kudus is going to be one of the signings of the season. A breath of fresh air for Tottenham fans. Them 2 assists, wonderful. The touches, exciting the crowd. Very good signing. And he's going to be back to the levels that he showed in his first season at West Ham. So yeah, Mohamed Kudus, definitely one of the signings of the season. Manchester City versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. One thing I learned from Wolves is that they're going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for them to get points without Cunha. Because Cunha was their talisman. And I feel like they're missing that maverick in that side, innit? Because they lost a couple of their big players. ain't Yuri as well. So I think Cunha is the massive one that you know, will massively hinder them, in my opinion. As for Manchester City, one thing I've learned, they're not playing around this season. You see the way Pep Linders comes in and the attacking side of things, players are making runs in behind. Oscar Bob's doing their thing. Haaland doing Haaland things. Shirky coming off the bench to get himself a goal. Reinders absolutely bullying that midfield. Manchester City are not here to mess around. Pep Guardiola wants his 7th Premier League title. So, yeah, that's Manchester City. One thing I've learned. Let's go on to Brighton versus Fulham. I'm going to do both teams. Both teams going to be difficult to beat for this upcoming season. Marco Silva and Brighton's manager, they're good tacticians, isn't it? And again, that game was reflecting on both sides, man. Good teams with good players cancel each other out. That's all I have to say. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, one thing I've learned is Eze, apart from Isak, he is the best player in the league outside the top 6 side, the traditional top 6 side, because that game, obviously his free kick was unluckily disallowed, but the touches, the flicks, the dummies, even the way he was like, the attack was flowing with him at the centre of everything. Yeah, Eze is such a joy to watch and he's a brilliant player. And whoever lands with him is either Crystal Palace keeps hold of him or he goes to Tottenham or maybe Arsenal. They're going to be getting one hell of a player on their hands. As for Chelsea, they looked sluggish. It looked like a team that didn't have that many breaks because of the Club World Cup and pre-season, and it showed because the way they was moving the ball, it wasn't like the Chelsea that we saw in pre-season, definitely wasn't the Chelsea that we saw in the Club World Cup. But again, limited amount of breaks definitely had an effect, so I wouldn't worry too much if you was a Chelsea fan. And Nottingham Forest versus Brentford. Yeah, Brentford's relegation fight definitely in your hands because Wissa's going on strike, and Bremo's left. Thomas Frank has left, who was a big part of Brentford, and you can see, like, you get me, it went tits up from there. As for Nottingham Forest, they're going to be making another push for European football because they're still going strong. Chris Woods looks like last season not a one-season wonder thing with his 2 goals. Yeah, man, they added in players as well. The new boy got himself a goal, Amari Hutchinson. That they added in players as well, and that owner of Nottingham Forest, his ambition cannot be slept on. So Nottingham Forest will definitely be mounting a European challenge for another season. Manchester United versus Arsenal. As for Manchester United, they need a new goalkeeper ASAP. I don't know where they're finding these goalkeepers from, but they're costing them games. They actually performed well against Arsenal. They was the better team by far, but they still lost. Why? Because their goalkeeper decided to move his hand with Kit Kat fingers and that, and it cost them. It absolutely cost them. Terrible goalkeeping. As for Arsenal, one thing I've learned from them is that set piece is going to do the trick for them again for this upcoming season. Because that's their 31st goal from corners since the 23-24 season. The highest out of any team in the Premier League. Liverpool's second with 20. And it's going to be another cheat code to their Arsenal for this upcoming season. No pun intended. And then the last one is Leeds versus Everton. Leeds United, one thing I've learned is that they're not going to... I do expect it to be in the relegation fight, but like with Sunderland with their home crowd, I feel like Ellen Road will push them along to potentially save themselves from relegation because the atmosphere was there and they got themselves a win with a penalty. As for Everton, even though they lost, I still think they're going to be... I still feel like they're going to finish in the top 10. And Grealish, he came off the bench. I expect Grealish to recreate the stuff that he was doing for Aston Villa in the Everton shirt. Because you don't just lose ability just like that. And he definitely needed a breath of fresh air and a new environment so he can play his football and enjoy himself again. He's at Manchester City, it didn't look like he was enjoying himself, especially in this last few years. So, yeah, man, that's the one thing I've learned from all the teams in the Premier League for this match day 1. Let me know if I should continue this trend in terms of this consistently being a weekly video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate the support. Road to 200 subscribers. Let's keep pushing. And yeah, man, I'm out. Thank you guys for watching.